I focus on food content creation.
Which is like a dream job for so many people. A lot of Gen Zers becoming entrepreneurs at a very young age compared to a lot of millennials.
I think it's just the Gen Z mindset. So
What is it? What is the mindset? Tell us.
I think right now there's so many opportunities, and sitting on a desk 9 to 5 is just not the Gen Z way.
What do you think is the art of maintaining a relationship with a brand?
You know, if it's like a paid collaboration, you get excited. You're like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Not over-promising.
But what if it's just not up to par with what you had expected?
So what I do, I have a system. So
What if it was a paid deal?
that
That's
makes
hard.
it tricky, right? To buy small, you need to be careful.
Yeah.
You need to be good with influencers. You need to be good with agencies.
Hello and welcome, Heba, to the Pulp podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Disclaimer, guys, me and Heba used to work together, so I do know a little bit about you, but I want everyone else to get to know you. You were a social media journalist. You then kind of paved your own way to become a digital content creator yourself. So you created your own, basically, digital agency. And the exciting thing about that is that you focus only on food. You're a full-time food content creator.
Yes.
Which is like a dream job for so many people.
Exactly. I mean, it involves a lot of eating. So basically, I focus on food content creation, but then now I started doing a little bit of traveling, or even if it's like within UAE, like going on road trips, doing activities, things like that, because food is fun, but also it's very easy to be done with it. You know,
Right.
How much are you going to eat?
Oh my God.
Basically.
I want to get into that so much because I feel like there's a lot of questions on people's minds of like what it takes to become a full-time content creator just focused on food. But before that, I just want you to take us through the journey of like how you decided to go from one, like a full-time job, secure, salary-based, to creating your own agency that's based on, you know, creating content for food and for restaurants.
Okay, so basically for me, I was, enjoying it a lot. Like, so first I was a journalist, a multimedia journalist. We worked together. We have some great memories from
We
that.
have great memories, great videos. Yeah.
And then I started working in a social media role. So I was in a marketing team. So I think I learned a lot just within those 3 years. And then I was like, you know what? And this content creation is something I had been doing for Cloud9 Couture. I'd been doing it for years. I started it in high school.
Okay.
It was something I was really passionate about. It was like a hobby. So people have like photography, singing, dancing, things like that. For me, it was content creation.
Okay.
So I realized, that was sort of taking off as well. I got to know how to create content. I was good at it. And then people were asking me as well. So restaurants I would collaborate with, they would be like, okay, what if, you could do like a monthly thing for us, create content. So that's where the idea came from. I'm like, you know what? Let's make a content agency that focuses on food content creation.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Look, like before we get into the content stuff, I just had an observation, and I want to hear your feedback, like if you agree or not. Like I realize a lot of Gen Zers are becoming confident enough to like create their own way, like becoming entrepreneurs at a very young age compared to a lot of millennials, like since I was growing up. Do you agree with that?
Yes, 100%. I think it's just the Gen Z mindset. So
What is it? What is the mindset? Tell us.
I think the mindset is that they don't want to work for anyone, basically.
And where did that come from?
I think it's just, honestly, that's a really good question, because I think it's just the way that we were raised. And then right now, there's so many opportunities. People can like become content creators like within a day or 2 days, and then videos go viral so fast. So it's just a very fast-paced sort of world. And sitting on a desk 9 to 5 is just not the Gen Z way. They do it for a while until they realize they can, and then they start something on their own. And there's just so much in the world. There's artificial intelligence, there's ChatGPT, there's social media platforms. Threads just launched. Like there's new stuff happening all the time.
It's so interesting because I feel like it's such an inspiration for like people from my generation, like millennials who are like, oh my God, I'm now going to have to leave my 9 to 5. Where am I going to get money from? Like that's a big one. Do you think also maybe like Gen Z, because you guys like do still live at home sometimes, so there's a little bit of cushion.
Yes.
Do you think that's a helpful
for
thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think people romanticize leaving a job.
Right.
I just left my 9 to 5. Like if you read those stories on LinkedIn, they sort of sound fake.
Right.
I left my 9 to 5. Now I'm achieving this. Now I'm traveling the world. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. when you leave your 9 to 5, it hits you, by the way. It's like a reality check. When you're not getting that monthly salary, I think whether you're a millennial, whether you're a Gen Z, you're human, right? You have needs.
Right.
So that is a big reality check when that money doesn't come in. But for me, for example, I live with my parents. So I had that cushion, and then they actually motivated me. They're like, you know what, just do it. Like, if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? My dad, especially, like, he's always supportive and all of that. But if people don't have that, I know it can be tricky. But content creation, things like this, there's another way to do it while you have a full-time job. I think you should do it. Like, don't think too much.
Don't think too much.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a cross, like a cross between opportunity and that like feeling of why should I work 9 to 5 if there's there's a faster way to do it. If there's a faster way to get to where, instead of like waiting for a raise and waiting for, right? Okay, so take us through how you started. Like, so you told us that you started in high school, which is exciting. But then, like, how did you know that this is like a hobby that could turn into something professional? Like, when was your first brand deal, or when was like the first time that you even thought about reaching out to a brand?
Okay, so when I started Cloud9 Couture, it was obviously just, me showing people my lifestyle, things like that. Even my name, Cloud9 Couture. So people think that I do fashion.
That's what I thought.
Yes. And which is how I started. So I started doing fashion, makeup, food. Like, I was doing everything. I was all over the place. I didn't have a niche because I just started it randomly. And then I realized that I loved food more. This was like a year into it. And my first brand deal, I think, was a restaurant for sure. Like, I was so excited. I still remember when I got invited to this one store opening in Dubai Mall. That was my first one. It was like a chocolate boutique. It wasn't paid. It was like a barter collaboration. Okay. But even that was such a proud thing for me. I was like, wow, like, I got invited. Oh my God, all this stuff is free.
That's so cool.
So that's how it started. Yeah.
Amazing. So after that, were you like, okay, this is something that I could take seriously? Like, how did you know how to even approach a brand?
Okay, yeah,
because I know that's,
you can't just be hard. Like, oh, can I get this for free, or do you want to pay me?
Yeah, especially because you're still growing. I'm sure you were a smaller creator than you are now, right? Like,
yes, for sure.
Do you remember how many like followers you had when you had your first brand deal?
I actually don't remember how many followers I had, but I think I started getting some serious collaborations, like better collaborations, after reaching 5K. But but that number changes frequently as well. So now, it's a bigger number. People want like 20,000, 30,000 followers like that. But I think if your content is good, the number of followers don't matter as much. If an agency is good, they'll know. Because a lot of people out there are buying followers. Yes. I'm just going to put it out there. It's true.
I know, it's very true.
And I don't know if you know about this website. So if you put in your username, it's going to tell you what % of your followers are fake. And it's 100% accurate, by the way. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm so glad they came out with that.
What's the website called?
I actually need to find the link exactly, but it's
put
so
it in
accurate.
The link below,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you get like 5 free tries. So you can put like 5 usernames on Instagram and see.
Wait, can you put other people's usernames?
Yeah. That's the best part. That's amazing for agencies.
That's crazy.
I'm going to send you the link.
Okay, so basically we can find you out, guys. Like, if you think
if you have fake followers, we're going to catch you.
We're onto you. That's like so also like very hopeful for people who have a small following, right? Because then it's like, okay, we don't need like 10,000 to 20,000 to whatever, 30,000. Like, we can start small, right?
Exactly.
So is there like a specific way to approach a brand? Can you like give us a little bit of insight?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so if you're interested in working with a restaurant or a hotel, there's no shame in approaching a brand. That's what people need to know. Like, it's good to get invites and things like that. But if there's a restaurant or a hotel you really want to go to, this is how you reach out to them. So you obviously say hello, like all of that. And then you give like a little background. Like, I had a look at your hotel, or your page popped up on my feed. It looks so interesting. This is the kind of content I do. These are the kind of audience I have. You can even mention insights. Okay. You can make a media kit where you can put your reach, your followers from TikTok, Instagram, everything. So a brand can click on that media kit and they'll know. Yeah. So, the media kit thing is for like bigger collaborations if you want to work with maybe Hilton or IHG or things like that.
Sorry for interrupting.
No,
I have a
that's
habit
okay.
of doing that.
You can ask as many questions as you want.
I was just gonna say, like, how many? Where do I find a media kit? How do I know how to make one? Are there tutorials online?
Yes, there are amazing tutorials on YouTube, and you can make media kits on Canva.
Okay.
So if you just buy Canva Pro, I think the features are incredible. You can do so much. I am sure you use it. I
have used it. I love it.
Even for like podcast art and
Thumbnails.
all of that, thumbnails, logos, everything, you can do it on Canva.
No, it is
it's
great.
Amazing.
So you approach them, you tell them exactly what you want, how many, you tell them also like your analytics and stuff. Like, do you tell them your numbers, or you don't show that?
Straight up, no, I don't do that.
Okay.
But if it's like a media kit, as I said, like for bigger collaborations or hotels, things like that, then I will include some of my analytics. So my insights, like how many of my followers are male, female, the age group, just like basic things like that, and how much reach my reels have, because reels and TikToks are the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
No one cares about images. Like most people don't. It's just always videos. So then you just reach out to them, or you can just leave them a DM. If it's like a bigger company, you can always leave them an email. And yeah, just like being very professional, very polite. And if they decline, like don't let that stop you from reaching out to other brands, because you never know. That's how you start as well.
Do you think you should push if someone says no? Do you think you should reach out again at a later stage?
I think no, because if they say no in the beginning, it's most probably because they think your content doesn't line with their brand. So I don't know. I wouldn't do that. But sometimes, so when I was a smaller creator, I did message a few brands like in the initial stages, and they never responded. And then later, like when I grew, I get an invite from them or things like that. And then I'm just like, do I want to go? Like maybe, why did they say no in the beginning? But also then I get the brand's point of view. Like it's all about the followers.
100%. And I think it's important, like you said, like put your ego aside, because at some point you were a smaller creator. Maybe they didn't see the value.
Exactly.
They just didn't see it, but then you showed them.
Yeah. And also your content, you're not going to start up and just be amazing at it. 100%. It's with anything in this, even with like journalism or anything, when you start, you're not good at it. But I think you learn along the way. So I don't believe in natural talent. I think you can always learn and be better.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you said that, so that it can give people a little bit of hope. Like, guys, you don't have to be perfect from the get-go. Tell us a little bit more about like the creative side, because I know you're like a creative person. You have a great aesthetic eye. When you go to a restaurant, can you give us like a bit of what equipment do we need, and what should people focus on just visually?
Okay, so is this for like food content creation?
Food content. Okay. Like I'm going into a restaurant right now. I'm a food content creator. I want to get them like really good shots.
Yes.
But like, where do I start?
Okay, so for the equipment point of view, the three most important things: having a good mic, that is if you want to do voiceovers and all of that.
Okay.
Having a tripod, and having a light that you get from Amazon. Also, I will send you that link,
Amazing.
guys. Don't worry, links. I got you. That light was a game changer, by the way.
What is it? Was it like a portable light?
Yeah, it's like the size of my hand, but the light is so bright, and you can change colors and all of that. So in the beginning, I would say no to dinner tastings or events at night who needed content. I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, my content is not going to be good at night. But with that light, it has changed. Now I just like any time of the day, I can do a tasting. I always keep it in my bag.
Because you are hooked up now. Yeah. You got all the equipment. All right, amazing.
So yes, having these three equipments is important. And if you want to go to a restaurant, and you don't have anyone to go with, you can always carry your tripod.
Amazing.
So yeah, you don't always need people to film for you.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, what was your other?
Which angles should I focus on first?
So I think it's good to just, have a look around.
Yeah.
And just see, okay, where's the light coming from? What are the good angles? And then just try to find something on the menu that's unique as well. And what also helps is asking the people who work there, what is the most presentable dish?
Yes. I was going to ask you about that. Like, does every restaurant have to be Instagrammable kind of?
No.
Or no, right? You can make it Instagrammable.
Yes, and not everything has to be aesthetic as well. So there are a lot of hidden gems or like tiny shawarma spots I'm sure you've been to. Even if you make videos about that, people find it so useful and it can go viral. People love cheap eats. So it's not always the aesthetic, it's also the value that you bring to people
100%.
Through the video.
So I was going to ask you, like, how do you choose your restaurants? Like, is it just what you're in the mood for? Like, how do you kind of, do you give them like a priority list, or what do you do?
So, I mean, it depends on the invites and everything. So, from the invites, I will shortlist. A few will agree for barter, a few will agree for paid. And also, by the way, if you're getting into content creation, it's very important to have a rate card.
Right.
That is another thing I wanted to mention.
Okay.
Yes, if you want to monetize it.
Can we get into the rate card thing afterwards?
Yeah, for sure. We're
mental
going
note.
to get, yeah, okay, we can talk about that in detail.
Yeah, sorry. I'll just go back because I think I threw you off a little bit. So basically, we were talking about how do you choose your restaurants?
Yes. How do I choose my restaurants? So it depends on the invites and everything. And then I will go to the restaurant's Instagram page. I will try to find it. How does it look and all of that. And then I always want to mix it up a little bit. So obviously, we all love to, go to fine dine places. So if I get an invite from there, I'll be like, okay, wow, that's Instagrammable. That's new. New things always do better because people want to know all the new spots that are opening up. And then also another thing, another way I find new places is through family friends. So they will tell me that, okay, you know what, we went to Sharjah and there was like the best pani puri that we ever had or the best shawarma we ever had. These are not invites. They're purely just me going and trying the food. So I love to mix that up a little bit as well.
That's really helpful because that means it's like, word of mouth, like someone actually came to tell you that. Amazing. Okay, so we're choosing things according to word of mouth, according to the value they bring, and according to just like aesthetics.
Yes, aesthetics. Is it trending? Like if maybe they have like a new product that's trending. For example, I don't know if you know about the fruit roll-up ice cream. That
I
trend
saw
on
it.
TikTok.
Yeah.
So an ice cream place called Frozen Factory started it. They started selling it.
Man, Dubai moves so fast.
Right?
Like it was just
Honestly.
a trend. What the hell?
It starts with a TikTok trend, and Dubai is just so fast with picking up that stuff.
That's insane. I literally saw it yesterday. Now there's this restaurant.
There's like an ice cream place.
Mashallah.
They had like a whole campaign like on the tables. They were advertising. They had like roll-up boxes, like empty boxes, but for advertisement for the ice cream. And I went and I tried it. So if you just keep doing that, if you keep looking up spots on social media as well, see what other influencers are doing, maybe the same thing you can do and elevate it, make it better.
I like that. I like that same because you don't have to, it doesn't have to be original every single time, right? Like you can actually build on what someone has already done. And that's not like, I don't think that's bad.
That's not bad at all. It's just the way you go about it. So if you see a video and you see like a concept, maybe there's like a storytelling, a voiceover, and if you copy it exactly in that style, you don't have your own style, that to me is like, that doesn't look good on your page and to your followers. Because if they follow you, they probably follow that other creator. They'd be like, huh? Like, is she copying? Or how is that? But if you go to the same place, but you have a different approach, maybe like a different way of filming. I think everyone has their own style. So if you stick to it, it's really good. It keeps you original as well, and it gives you more organic following.
100%. What do you think is trending right now in terms of like just the way we cover food? Like I see a lot of people with voiceovers. I see a lot of storytelling tactics. Like, do you think people are more now into like storytelling longer form, or do you think it's still like quick and cute is still the way to go? Like, what do you think?
I think the best way to make videos and something that does really well in my experience is not too short as well. Even you can do like 20-30 second reels, but voiceovers and the one with like the caption popping, that really helps as well because that engages people. And not everyone watches your videos on full volume. So it's good to have subtitles if you have a voiceover.
100%. I've learned that recently. Yeah, it's really, really important. People are also visual, right? So like the subtitles add to that like visual context kind of thing.
Yeah, and it makes it really engaging. So there's an app called Captions.
Right.
So you have like 20-30 different styles that you can pick. There's something that goes like this. There's something that goes like this. You can play around with the font. You can have like one word popping up every second. So it makes it really cool.
Amazing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about like the support that someone might need. Do you think that people should go out and kind of have a mentor or like have someone to work for and then go out on their own? Or do you think just pick up your camera and go? Because I remember you told me once that you had worked for one of Dubai's like very famous food influencers, Just Food DXB. Had you been working with him and then did you pick up some stuff from there also?
Yeah, like for like when I was working with Alex, we were working as freelance content creators. And honestly, like I saw the confidence that the guy had, and he was dealing with all the clients and everything. And the way he was so professional about it, and the way he would be with us as well as content creators was amazing. Like he would be so understanding, so flexible. So these are the things that I picked up, but also looking at his content, I was very inspired. Even he grew like, I think maybe to 200,000 followers right now, and he's getting amazing collaborations. So it's always good to have someone like that, but I think that's not always necessary. You can find inspiration from many different people, but to start off, you don't really need a mentor, I think. You can just do it on your own. If you're inspired enough, if you think your idea is good, if you think your niche is unique, then you should definitely start.
Amazing. And do you think you should just start from like doing free content at the beginning?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Not really free. It's not even going to be free, by
It's
the
just
way.
for you.
In the beginning, you're going to be investing money for a long time.
Okay.
It depends. Obviously, like you never know when something's going to go viral, right?
Right.
So you're going to start from nothing. You're not going to have just people DMing you, please try this,
Yeah,
try
yeah,
that. You're
that's
not going to
true.
get invites. That's how I started. So I would just dine out with my family. If I would be with my family, I'd try to get a few pictures. That's how the page started as well. And that's how I started going into food. And so, yeah.
Amazing.
That's how it starts. You start with a little bit of investment in the beginning, and then you're going to see the results, and then you're going to start getting invites, hopefully, and it'll be good. It'll be worth it.
That's such good advice. Now, I know this is like a very niche question, but I've seen some tips on TikTok about this, and I wonder if it's true. Do you think Gen Z aesthetics, in terms of what they present online, is different than the like millennial, just talk to me about like even fonts and like stuff like that, or like the minimalism? Like, is there a difference, do you feel?
I think there is. Yeah, there is a difference for the aesthetics between the two. So I think the Gen Z are more catchy, and also the fonts and everything is more minimal, even thumbnails. Like they're not really popping that much.
Okay.
But millennials can be a bit different. You know, maybe they'll have like speech bubbles, things like that. But Gen Z, they'll just have like the basic font on the thumbnail.
You know what I realize? I feel like because millennial art or creativity is very salesy, because it's very like, choose me, pick me, it's like, pick me, girl.
Pick me, girl.
There's like a lot of pick me girl energy in millennial like aesthetics. Yeah. Gen Z, I feel like, is like, I'll just post this like a picture of a sunset with like tiny little minimalistic font, and there you go. That's my
content.
That's my content.
Like it or not.
Like it or leave it.
Yeah, I think Gen Z is more like, I don't give a shit attitude.
Exactly.
Right?
100%. I feel like it's like a very laissez-faire, like you like it, you don't like it. I don't care. I'm here to make content. But you guys are very much more, I feel like you're very business savvy at a much younger age, which is really cool.
And I love to see that. I get so happy when I get to know about people starting up their businesses. Like even my friends, like literally all of us, we were working full-time jobs, and now all of us have like a small business going on. So we talk about it as well. There's one who has like communication agency. There's one who started a food brand. There's one who's starting a tote bag business. So it's really cool.
That's so cool. I love that. I love that so much. Now, for someone who's just starting out and they just really don't know how to price themselves, like, how would you go about creating a rate card for yourself? And is there a difference for like different skill sets and different skill levels?
So for the rate card, it usually has a static post, the price of a static post, price for stories, price for reels. So when you send it to a brand, for example, they have a low budget, they'll be like, okay, can you just do stories for us? So that's how it usually works. Now, to make a rate card, there's like a whole system, by the way. I saw a video about this recently on TikTok, but I didn't follow that process. It involves a lot of maths. I'm not good at it.
Okay. We're not doing maths here.
It was like
basics.
Okay. Yeah. It was like, take a percent of your followers, then take the percent from which country you're in, then do this, then do that, then multiply it with how many sales you're bringing, and then you do the rate card. So I was like, okay, that's a bit complicated, but I wish there was like an easy way and I had like a good process for it. But it always depends on the content as well. So if you're a restaurant content creator, there's a lot in the market. It's heavily saturated. You can charge like crazy, and you can charge from the beginning.
Okay.
I think after 10,000 is when you think about charging. Until then, no.
Really?
It's probably not going to work out. Yeah.
But wait, you said that you approached a brand at 5K followers.
For barter.
For a barter.
Yeah, because I was like, that restaurant was really nice. It was trending. And I was like, okay, might as well have a barter collaboration so I can, show people more food, things like that. In the beginning, you invest, then barter, and then paid. So it's like a 3-step process.
Invest, do the content yourself. It's just for you and your friends. and then barter deal.
Yes.
And barter could include just you dining there for free, or
Yeah.
what is it? Yeah.
Barter is basically anything that you're getting for free. So if you're like getting Sony headphones or a camera for free, but you just need to create content for them, that's the kind of barter.
That's a barter
collaboration.
deal. And then paid collabs.
Yeah. And paid, you can always increase as your followers increase. So if a brand approaches you, maybe like if a brand approaches me this month, I'll send them my rate card. But suppose my videos go like really viral and I'm like 20,000 more in 2 months, and then they approach me again for another collaboration, I can just send them a new rate card. I'll be like, hi, because of my following, because of my profile growing, all of that, my rates have slightly changed. You can let me know if that works for you. So you can always do that as well.
That's a nice way to go about it. It's
Yeah.
like kind of negotiating, but at the same time being like, this is what I'm offering you. This is my rate. And so, yeah, take it or leave it kind of thing.
Exactly.
Amazing. Is there a specific number that like first time creators should aim for at the beginning? Or, I mean, give us a number.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So for example, you have 10,000 followers and someone approaches you for a reel. I think a reasonable price for that would be 500 dirhams.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make 500 dirhams.
For one
It can
reel.
be like one reel. Yeah. And maybe if they want stories, you can be like, okay, that'll be like another 150 to 200 dirhams. Now, this is just my point of view. Some people might think it's low. Some people do charge higher, like way higher. It even depends on the kind of creator that they are. Maybe they just do luxury things. So their rate is going to be way higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
There is a food content creator. She's literally like, she does luxury only.
So
Luxury
just like
travel, luxury food.
Wow.
Purely that. Like
Michelin
imagine her
star.
life.
We are going to talk about cold calling and DMing. Should you ever DM a brand?
I think DMing is good, by the way, because the social media agency that is running their account, or maybe like their social media manager, they're going to reply to you very quickly. Now, this is for like restaurants, cafes, new places popping up. I don't think they check their emails that often. But as I said, like, you know, if it's like a big hotel brand or a big restaurant chain or like a PR agency that you just want to get into their list, the best way is to email them.
Okay.
But DMing is not bad. It's just the way you approach. Just be professional. Don't seem very needy. Like make them want your content.
Right,
you know?
right. Be appealing, basically.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to attract them so that they can then want you.
And another thing with that is when you're approaching people, make sure it fits in with your niche. Even if you're getting a paid collaboration, like a brand is approaching you, but that does not fit your niche, I'd say don't do it.
Like, what would you say no to?
So, for example, recently I got approached by a brand. It was like a food brand, but they wanted me to do a makeup video. They said, we want you to do makeup looks about like that matches the food product. Kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
So it was a combination. It was like makeup and food. But then I said no to it because I was like, you know what? This content is not going to fit in with the rest of my content. My followers don't care about makeup. My followers care about new places. They care about activities. They care about travel. So I don't think it'll even perform well. So then I had to say no. So I think as a content creator, you need to know when to say no as well. That's very important.
That's great advice. I think in a time where, you know, especially if you're like someone who's freelancing, who's on your own, like you really want to say yes to everything because you want to be a yes person.
And you want to get the money.
You want to get that bag. But like at the same time, like you can't because it will ruin your performance.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Some people do it and it works. But personally, I think that stick to your niche. So even if your niche can be different things as well, like 2 or 3 different things. So like I said, I started with food, but now I'm doing activities. I really, really want to get into traveling. Like that's my dream to, you know, collaborate with tourism boards and all of that. So you can always do that. You can do 2 to 3 things at once, but it depends. It changes.
Yeah. We've talked about how to approach a brand, right? Yes. And how you can cold email, DMing, but then what do you think is the art of maintaining a relationship with a brand? Like, I feel like it's easy to approach because you don't know them and they don't know you. But how do you continue working with them and maintaining that relationship? What do you think is the most important factor?
I think the most important thing is how you communicate with them. Very, very important. So in the beginning, obviously, you're going to be eager. They're going to be excited to work with you. And then if they're like, you know, if it's like a paid collaboration, you get excited. You're like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But communication is so important and not over promising. So only promise what you can deliver because that's just going to, you know, put you down.
Which is hard sometimes because you get so excited that you think you can do it all.
Exactly. You get really excited, but it's really good to like, keep yourself like, okay, give yourself a reality check. Be like, this is what I have. This is what I can do. This is what my audience are interested in. Communicate that with the brand and accordingly create the content. So how you can keep up the brand relationship. Okay, now you have good communication, all of that. Also, you need to be very professional with them. So sometimes a brand can take advantage of you and you need to stop that from happening, right? So you need to set your boundaries.
And what does that look like? What does the taking advantage look like?
The taking advantage can be that they pay you for a video and then they ask you for like 10 different changes. So from the beginning, you can be like, hi, thank you so much for your interest. I can do this for you because, you're offering me this much money. What I can offer you is maybe like 2 times I can revise the video. So that's really good to mention in the beginning. So when later they say, okay, revise this, revise that, revise this, revise that, it keeps going back and forth. You can't be like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning you agreed.
100%.
So it's really important to do that as well. So
and I realize even like big companies, like I used to work for this like agency in Australia. I was a producer there, and I remember we had to tell the clients like 3 changes max, and that's a lot anyway. And then after that, you have to pay extra.
Exactly.
So
I think that's a smart way to do it because that way the brand will know. They'll be more careful. They will study the video and give you like a whole list of feedback or things to change. So it can just happen in one go. I think that's better for the agency, better for the content creator because you're not wasting the agency's time as well.
100%. So do you put that in a contract or okay. So when you are, the first initial stages, do you send them a contract that you've already had created?
So mostly when brands want to collaborate with you, they send you a contract.
Okay.
But you can always go through it thoroughly. It's very important. It's going to be a long contract. Sometimes it's going to be like 4 pages, 5 pages, but read it word to word. And hopefully everything should be good. Like in UAE, everyone's very like, they obey the laws and they will not take advantage of you or anything like that in terms of content as well. They'll be very straightforward in the contract. So it's good to read it thoroughly. So, and if you want to add anything, just feel free. You can just send them an email. Always have like a thread of emails.
Okay.
So don't promise these things or do all of this discussion on call or WhatsApp. It's always good to email for like these bigger collaborations.
So that it's documented.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, that's very, very good advice. And when do you mention the part where like you'll only do like 2 to 3 changes? When do you mention that?
That can be when you're signing the contract. You can be like, as per the contract, everything, I have signed it, but these are the conditions as well that I would like to add. And if it's like a good agency, I'm sure they'll understand and they will agree to it as well.
They'll agree to it. Okay, amazing. That's really good. Talk to us about, after a while, when you have done so much food content, is there a time where it becomes a little bit, do you ever get creators block from that? Or do you ever get like some kind of, stagnation? Like, what do you do? How do you solve that issue? What inspires you? I think it's like important to continue being inspired, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, everyone goes through a creative block. It can be in any kind of career as well. If you're a photographer, if you're a content creator, everyone goes through this. I think it's just different ways of finding inspiration. For me personally, I think social media is where I find inspiration as well. I'll see other creators doing it. I will look at new places popping up, and Dubai easily inspires you.
Yeah.
But like, it's the way it is. The food places that are opening, there are new things, there's new activities all the time. So that helps. And another thing that really, really helps is having friends in the same field, like content creator friends that you meet up. They, if they're the ones that are there to support you, if they're nice, supportive, you can talk to them about your struggles and you can, think about ideas with them as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really good to have that. And I have some really nice content creator friends. You do find them along the way. And they really push me through it and they help me out as well.
Is there any time that you guys like do the same content and then you're like, uh-oh, like this is awkward?
I mean, yeah. So if you're like, okay, so there are 2 types of groups in content creators, right? There's one that is like very competitive. That's a bit toxic. So maybe like, obviously be in a good relation with everyone, like, because Dubai is small, don't have bad blood. But those are the content creators. You're like, hi, hello. If you see them at events, you're going to be polite to them and all of that. But the ones that you will really find inspiration with and motivation with, those are the ones that you don't have competition with. It's okay. You can literally film the same place. Yeah. And now with the Instagram feature where you can collaborate, it makes life even better.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It is. It's so much fun when you find people like-minded people who like to do the same thing.
Yes. And we just have our own style. We know that. We're going to approach it from a different way where we have our own ways to film. Maybe I'll add a voiceover. My friend won't do that. She'll just do the text. So it happens like that. And I think that's a healthy way of going about it.
Amazing. So as a full-time content creator, tell us how you plan your content around the month. Like, do you have certain like retainers, client retainers, or like, do you just try to approach as many people as possible? Like what's your style of working?
I'm not a very organized person. I'm quite messy.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest about that. So it's just, I'm sort of all over the place right now. So we have our agency. The agency, Desert Media, is something that me and my sisters do. So then the retainer and monthly contracts and stuff, that's with the agency. As a content creator myself, then I, regularly just go through emails, and I don't plan my month. It just sort of happens as it is. So I'll get a collaboration, then I'll be like, okay, I can go maybe next week. If I edit, it'll be up by the week after that and all of that. And then I'll write it down as well. So I think I'm more of a weekly planner than a monthly planner because things change fast.
Right.
Events happen like really quickly, and sometimes you're going to get like a last minute invite and you really want to go to that as well.
That's so true. Because I was thinking if you had a retainer, then you can be like, okay, I've got like, 5 reels I have to do, I don't know, this month.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then there's like events that come up and you have to get that out quickly, I guess.
Yeah. But as a content creator, I just want to make one thing very clear is that retainers are not a thing, by the way. I think it's like, mostly they're going to pay you for a project or pay you for a campaign, and the campaign is just going to be like a one-time thing. But if you're lucky, maybe it's going to go on for a month, but that is like 20% of what actually happens. 80% it's like one event or one campaign.
Yeah.
And if they like you, they'll approach you for another one like in 2 weeks or a month.
Oh my God. Okay.
So it is very unreliable when it comes to money.
It is a little bit unreliable. Yeah. But like, hey, people are making a living out of it. And now that you have your like social media, digital, I never know how to say it for some reason. Digital social media agency,
it's
right?
It's a tongue twister.
It's a tongue twister. Now that you have that agency, what do you hope to do with that? Like, what is your like aim? Because you already do your food content. Is that going to be like kind of extra like content for the food?
Yes. So that agency right now, the goal is to create content for restaurants and cafes. First, when we started the social media content agency, we were like, let's just do it for everyone, any business. It can be like a mobile phone cover brand, or it can be, I don't know, like LED lights or anything. But then when we got into it, we're like, you know what? There are a lot of agencies that are just doing it for everyone. They're just making TikToks and Reels for everyone. So just to keep ourselves a bit different and also do something that we're all good at.
Yeah.
We're like, let's focus on food. And we love doing that. We, filming in the kitchens, coming up with ideas. It just works very naturally. And even my sister is a content creator, food content creator.
Yes, I've seen that. She's very good. Yeah.
And then the other sister is a makeup blogger. But then we all know how to film and, get the content right. So basically, I lose myself.
No, it's okay. So basically we're talking about like what content you're going to be focusing on in terms of like,
the agency.
Yeah.
So my plan is to make it more, and I want it to be like a community for creatives. So I want content creators to get together, inspire each other, maybe have like, like mini summits.
Yes.
And like classes and workshops, because a lot of people want to learn content as well. So small businesses, they're not going to have enough money to hire me or an agency like that, to create the content.
You do something really cool on your page, which is like you highlight best of things, right? So you have like a carousel of like, this week in, I don't know, best content creators or best, right?
Yes.
Like you have this,
like a top 5 thing.
Top 5 thing.
Yes.
That's what it is. I love that. I think it's so unique and so cool. And I feel like it's just fresh content. Like it's fresh, like
every week, like we have a post ready because, there's something new happening all the time. There's a new influencer that we find, and we want to do it like for any category. It can even be like a car influencer, anyone, not just food related. So that's something that we do every week, finding a small business to support, finding an influencer that we love, a chef that we're inspired by.
That's really cool because I feel like people feel really seen in that. And then they'll join your community because they're like, oh my God, like they, they shouted me out, or like they like my content. That's really cool.
It's a great way to grow the page as well.
In
different categories.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. So if someone came to you right now and they're like, I want to become a full-time content creator, like, what do you think, what would you tell them today? Because it is a saturated market.
Yeah.
there is a lot of food content, and you started early. Like you started when it first hit. You were in high school. So what would you say to people that you think they should do it, or they choose another niche?
I think 100% do it.
Okay.
Because content creator is like a big thing. Like, okay, food content creators, yes, it is saturated, but you can always find a way to make yourself different.
Yes.
And it's not even necessary to be very unique and very good at what you do. It can be something very, very simple.
Yeah.
Like literally start a blog all about the karaks of UAE or just with shawarmas. Like you can do anything. There's just so much out there.
That's so
any
true.
kind of content. Like it's really funny. One of my cousins, he's like, you know what, Heba, coming to Dubai, I've seen like the most beautiful bathrooms. Like it's unreal. There should be a blog about that. I'm like,
oh my God, make it.
I'm like, that's insane.
it.
And I think that would do really well as well. So
Dude,
it's
there's
just
a
about
niche
ideas.
for everything. There's
anything.
I went to this some seminar for like podcasters and stuff like that, and someone had told me, I had a meeting with someone later, and they were like, "There's a niche in podcasts for loyalty programs," which is
What?
so random.
Who would listen to
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, brands.
Other people in loyalty program, yeah, like people,
okay.
brands, yes, brands would listen, like other businesses would listen. So it's such a niche topic. Like,
Yeah.
that is so strange.
Imagine.
I would never ever on YouTube be like loyalty programs.
Yeah, but you just never know what people are going to be interested in.
You just never know, and it could like just go viral. You know what?
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if it doesn't go viral.
Yeah, if it's something that you love doing. So I like, okay, everyone can start a page.
Yeah.
But the way you keep going, the way you keep pushing yourself is only when you're enjoying it.
Yes.
So find something that you like and find something that you enjoy. And then at some point, you won't even feel demotivated.
100%.
You'll just keep going.
And it's more sustainable.
Yeah, it's more sustainable.
Just way more sustainable.
Something that you love doing, something that's easy to do with your routine. Like for example, you can start content creation as well with your job. You can do it on weekends. If you're going out with your friends, you can review a place.
100%.
It can be food content creation is honestly easier though. People who are like maybe car influencers or travel bloggers, I think that's more difficult because they need to plan their travels months ahead. They need to plan their collaborations.
I'm dying to know how travel content creators do this, because it's like just logistically sounds like a nightmare.
Right?
I'm just like dying to get someone
itineraries on itineraries. It's so stressful.
Flights,
I don't know how people do it.
connections.
Yeah. And then finding the perfect hotel.
Yeah. No, it is hard, I would imagine. I was gonna ask you, like, what if you cover a restaurant, a cafe, and it's just not up to par with what you had expected? Like, would you give them a bad review? Like, how would you go about that?
So if it's like a new restaurant or like a small business that I think that if I put a negative review out there, it's going to affect their business, I'm not going to do that publicly to them.
Okay.
So what I do, I have a system. So if it's not good, I'm actually going to like send them a DM and ask to speak with their manager and give them like a full rundown of my experience and then suggestions as well. And then, if you do that, they're going to find it very helpful. They're not going to be rude to you or anything.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, thank you so much for helping us out. And yes, we will definitely improve. So I think that's the way you can do it as well. You don't always need to bash them on social media. I think that's the way to go.
That's true. And especially in Dubai, like, I feel like here, like, people are very respectful of like not calling each other out on social media. And like, bad reviews, I feel like, are okay. Like, I feel like it's okay to say that the service was not great.
Yeah. 100%.
That's fine. But like, what if it was I don't know. What if it was a paid deal?
That makes
hard.
it tricky, right? But I mean, I've asked this as well to like bigger influencers. What do you do, if you do a paid collaboration and the food is not good?
Yeah.
So I asked this to Mr. Taster. He's an influencer. He's been doing it for years. He's like, Heba, like if the food is not good, I will just tell them I'm going to refund your money, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to share it.
Oh, wow.
So you can choose to do that as well. You can
Okay.
have that experience and then just choose to not share and then just give them a public review.
That's great, because that means you're like actually keeping your integrity. Like,
Yes.
you're saying, look, thank you for the opportunity, but
Yeah.
it just...
And I think it's a great way to do that as well. But for example, if it's a paid collaboration and maybe 2 dishes were not good, but the 3 were really good, I'm going to talk about the ones that were good and just give them a private review of what needs improvement. And I'll be like, can you please make this better? But I will not suggest my followers to get the one that I didn't like.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it, because then at least you're giving them, like, you're making the restaurant better, but in a very, like, in a more...
Subtle way.
I was going to say indirect, but actually it's more direct.
Yeah,
Because
it
you're
is
like,
more direct.
You're just telling them.
I think in any job, in any anything that you do, communication is the best way. Like just communicate, make things simple. Don't hide. Don't just think like, oh, what if I do this? What if I do that? Just talk to them. They'll be happy, more than happy. And even running this agency that I'm doing, everyone tells me before they start working with us, they're like, can you just promise us something? Can the communication please stay consistent? Because people are very communicative in the beginning and then they just lose their, like, they just don't do that anymore.
So that's
very important.
That's like, I love that because that's the key to sustainable like relationships with brands, right? Yeah. Just keep communicating.
Yeah, and Dubai is small, by the way. It's so important to stay professional because if an agency doesn't like you or if you're rude to someone, the word's going to get out.
It is going to get out.
Yeah, because everyone knows everyone. So it's always good, even if you don't have a good experience, stay professional. Be honest with them, but also stay professional while you're doing that because Dubai is small. You need to be careful. You need to be good with influencers. You need to be good with agencies.
That's so true.
Helps.
I was going to ask you, like, have you ever done a collab with other influencers? So like, have you worked with other, I know that you work with your sister, so that's also kind of collaboration, right? What do you think is also like, what do you think is the secret to maintaining that relationship? Because creative ideas, when your idea like is just not aligning with someone else's idea, that could cause friction. Like, how do you get beyond that?
Okay, so you're asking about creating content with other creators, right?
Yeah.
So that works sometimes. As I said, like if you have that one group that's really supportive, very like they motivate you, you motivate them. It's like back and forth.
Yeah.
So I have a friend, her Instagram's MyDXBelly. She's a food content creator.
Okay, yes, I've seen her, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen her, right? So we're like really good friends.
Okay.
So we had that friendship and then we became friends because we were both content creators going to the same uni.
Okay.
That's how it started. So with her, like, you know, we will do like collaboration posts. We will do recipes together. So in one collaboration that we did, that did really well was they were easy Ramadan recipes. So we did like 5 videos together. So these are the collaborations that you can do. And when you're collaborating with the influencer, just make sure that the niche also sort of matches your niche.
Okay.
Their aesthetics are somewhat the same as well, because maybe you will not like their angles and all of that. So go through their content. If you really like their content, you want to collaborate, reach out to the influencer.
Yeah.
Because of being a content creator, trust me, you're going to find friends as well.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do.
I was almost, because I used to think that like, oh, working alone could be lonely. And I was like, it can, I'm sure. But then, you know, you're giving me hope. Now you're saying that like people you reach out and they reach out and it just becomes a collaboration.
Yeah. And before you reach out, if you're overthinking, you're going to be like, shit, what if they, you know, they don't want to meet or something like that, or they don't want to collaborate. They're not interested in that. Don't think like that. Honestly, if it just comes to your mind, if you like someone's page, just say hi, compliment their content. I'm sure they're going to love it. And I'm sure like they're going to give you back the same energy. Hopefully, if it's a nice person.
Amazing. So what advice would you give people who are starting out in this field and have a little bit of anxiety about, like, for example, the finances? Like, how do you deal with that anxiety?
Move in with your parents.
Such great advice. Everybody go home.
Yeah. Be nice to your parents, guys. They're gonna support you when you're freelancer.
That's so funny. I love that, but it's so true. Yeah, I mean, I think also like just, I guess maybe have expectation that it is going to be anxiety ridden for the first couple of months.
Exactly.
Maybe forever.
So I think, okay, now that was just a joke, by the way. Actually, not really. I'm doing that. But but what people can do is when you're working a full-time job and you start like creating content on the side, you can start saving up. If you think this is going to get bigger, if you want to do like travel blogging, things like that, start saving up, be smart with your money. Just, you know, maybe like have a nice dinner or maybe twice a month. Don't just go every week.
Yeah.
So I think just limiting yourself, budgeting, saving, and then
Dubai could really suck up your money. So you have to be very like conscious about that.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you're smart with your money, you can make it happen. And if you're good with your work and you really believe in it, because if you start creating content just for the money, that's not motivation enough.
That's not motivation enough at all. I think like a lot of people have their anxiety also comes from the fact that they don't have a visa like to do these.
Yes.
Right? Like the freelancer visa is a little bit pricey.
Yeah, I think it's like 15K.
It's like 15K in total with like health insurance and everything. Are you just like living life with your parents?
So for me, I got lucky. I honestly, another thing I wanted to say, I believe in manifestation.
Okay.
But the different kind of manifestation. So I'm Muslim. I believe that if God wants it for you, you're going to get it.
Talk to me, girl.
Yeah. So basically like that kind of manifestation. So I remember I was in uni and then I got my job in Khalij Times and, you know, I was on my dad's visa and everything. And I was like, you know what? I really want the golden visa. I just want it so bad. And then I manifested it. I'm like, you know what? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I ended up getting the golden visa. So that really helped my case as well.
This is amazing.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to be good for a decade. I can do my freelancing. I can start my business, different things like that.
Yeah.
So that helped. But yeah, the freelancer visa is also a great way.
It's a great way. Would you mind me asking, like, the golden visa, did you get it based on like grades or like what did you get it based on?
I got it because of my university, because I was a distinction student.
Okay.
But there are different ways to get the golden visa. If you're just really good at your profession, if you even get good grades in school, this is for like the Gen Zs who want to start as well. If they want to get a golden visa, just focus on your studies. Do well in uni. If you have like a first class honors, you can always ask your unis to sponsor you and actually not sponsor you. Like basically they tell Amir Center about you and then Amir Center then processes your golden visa. That's really how it works.
Great. I love that. I think that's really great advice for people who are trying to get into this right now. Even if they're not trying to get into content creation, they're just trying to do their own thing. I think that's a really good thing to know.
It helps a lot. And like in UAE, they've made it very simple. Like the Amir Center makes the process so easy, so smooth. They guide you throughout. I mean, if you want to like know the money, I don't have the exact number, but it costs about 5,000 to 6,000 and you're good for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like amazing.
It's worth it. As a Gen Zer, what advice would you give a millennial who is trying to do what you're doing right now?
Honestly, I'm between Gen Z and millennial as well. I'm like 24. I don't even know where I am right now.
She's a baby.
But as an advice for millennials, I think it doesn't matter what's your age. Okay. Honestly, it matters about what you want to make content about. Yeah. It matters how motivated you are. Do you enjoy doing it? Do you love doing it? And then you can always find inspiration online. So no matter what age you are in, I'll just say start. Don't care about your age. Don't care about, oh my God, what if my friends see my page and like they make fun of me or something like this. Get that social anxiety stuff out of your mind as well. Some people don't start because they think that what will other people think.
Wait, because I feel like there is a difference in mindset. I feel like there's a difference in mindset because millennials are taught to listen to the rules and follow the rules. So leave us with a little bit of advice of like, how do you think millennials can think outside the box in order to kind of reach that like entrepreneurial mindset that the Gen Zers have these days?
I think a great way to do that is honestly like listening to different talks as well on YouTube. Watching other content creators that's very inspiring, maybe connecting with different people online, finding inspiration from there, finding inspiration from different social media platforms. I think that's one way to think outside the box. But to think exactly like Gen Z, I don't know if that's possible.
No.
There is like an age difference. There is like mindset is different.
There's a mindset different. And I feel like also when you're younger, like there is a more risk-taking like energy that you just like give less of a shit. Basically.
But you can always like adapt, I think. You can always adapt to different changes and you can always get inspired by other people, other generations as well. Yeah. So I think the way to think outside the box is like they don't have to think outside the box.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can find like, it's like a Venn diagram. You can find something in the middle that you like. And you know what, you can just work on that as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today, Heba. Where can people find you? Like, what are you doing these days and where can you be seen online?
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it was such a fun conversation.
It was.
I loved it.
I think it was very informative.
But for anyone who wants to find me, you can find me on my Instagram. I have, it's Cloud9 Couture on Instagram, Heba XKH on TikTok. Okay. And they can find my podcast as well, The Bigger Picture Podcast.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And guys, if you like this video, do like and share or just say a hey in the comments below. And we'll see you on the next one. See ya. Bye.